Okay, so we are in AP English Lit right now. We're doing our whole class discussion. Our class is a little bit sparse today. We only have 4 students, but it is a whole class discussion. So we're doing a lit circle. We've been doing lit circles every week this term, and we're reading the book Forgotten Fire. So the students have all come prepared to discuss. Because of the legal ramifications of videoing in kids at this private school, we cannot show students, so we're just looking at the ceiling, but you should be able to hear the discussion still. All right, you're
Okay. This week I did word warlock, which means I had to pick like 3 vocab words from the chapters and then write the definition, the quote, and like how I like interpret it. So on page 240 I picked the word instantaneous. The definition was like pretty much instantly or immediate, and the book said, "Foolishly I looked below and was quickly assured that my death, if I fell, would be instantaneous." So it meant that he knew if he fell, he would just like die as soon as he hit the ground. 2, on page 253, I chose insubordination. The quote was, "I was tempted to go on deck, but I didn't want to risk being thrown off the ship for insubordination. So I sat against one of the walls and waited." The definition was disobeying someone in charge if you were like above you. So he wasn't allowed to go on deck because it was just like a rule, so he just waited by the wall. And then my third word was genocide from page 270. It says, Enver Pasha, the last of the young Turk triumvirate responsible for the genocide, is killed in Pakistan fighting in the Bashmachi revolt against Russia. The definition is just like the mass killing of a certain like specific group. And he was the last person involved in the genocide that was like surviving, but then he died in the revolt. Yeah, those are my words.
Oh, I forgot about that when he, like, because that was when he was talking about, like, when he finally got out of, like, he got to the mainland and he got to, like, live a new life even though his, like, family was all killed.
Yeah, exactly. Okay, you guys all understand my vocab words?
I do. I love Spitzer. He helped us out.
So insubordination now, I'm like,
Yes,
oh, that's really
he told me what that word meant because I was very confused. Okay, who wants to go next? You go?
One moment.
Oh, wait, yeah, I can go. Sorry, I have to find my worksheet.
Is it this one?
No.
Okay.
Where's my green notebook?
Where's your green notebook, silly goose?
Oh, wait, green notebook or full?
Oh, it's right there.
Okay, so I was the question commander for chapter 30 to epilogue. So the first question I asked was, wait, can I see the book?
Yeah, it's right here.
So, on page 234, it was chapter 31. And it said at the beginning, the autumn of 1917, came the rain and wind, and it basically was and then it continued to talk about how, like, the war has been different than what it was before, like when we first started the book. And my first question was, what was the war looking like at this time? And then I think I realized later on when I was reading that, like at the end of the epilogue, 1920, the war ended, and he got to like put flowers over his parents' graves and stuff. So
Yeah, I like that part when he went to like visit them because his parents in the beginning of the book were like, they always talked about his dad and they were like a big part of the book. And then Selim Bey like worked with his dad and then his friend's mom. So I thought it was really sweet how they like finished it off by him like going back there and putting the flowers and just like bringing them back, full circle ending.
yeah, and I liked how like his brother Sysak was a big part of like
Yeah.
some of the chapters and he came back in that. My next question was for page 249. chapter 32. Why does Bahan really want to go to Constantinople?
Constantinople.
Sorry. You're good. And because I was wondering, like, why does he want to go there?
Sorry, what did you say?
Why did Bahan really want to go to that part?
Constantinople.
Here, it's right here. Read this chapter. Or read this page.
So he can like basically start a new life after the war was over. Wait, maybe I should get closer.
Yeah, because he lost his whole family in his house. He was moving around so much, like, he was just a kid and he was so, like, his life was so unstable. So, like, going to Constantinople and starting over would be really good for him. And I think it's, like, a new beginning for him to, like, kind of grieve and, like, put the war in the past and try and, like, move forward with his life.
I also think it's like nice how like, you know, like the whole book was just like a lot of tragedy, and just for the ending to be like him starting over, basically starting fresh, and like the war ending, and just like, and not being such a terrible ending.
Yeah, it was a happy ending.
More
Happier.
enlightening for
Yeah.
a reader.
Yeah, because he went, like, with his parents, and then he went and stayed in that place for, like, 7 days, and then he went to the house, and then his brother died. And, like, he kept going to different places, and he even walked with those people, and he had to pretend he was Turkish. And then Salim Bey, and then the doctor's house, and then he finally, after he loses, his pretend mom, like his mentor, and then the girl, he realizes, like, he can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
And it's been 3 years. Like, it was 3 years of, like, this war that we see. So then, number 3 is how and when, in your life, have you felt freedom and relief?
Hold on, what? Why are you asking me? I know.
Because what happened was he,
It's just like your own personal answer. Like, when have you felt like freedom?
yeah,
Like, can you think of any times? Like,
when you got out of the wilderness.
I was gonna say that when I got out of wilderness and I had like 2 days staying out with my parents, I got Chipotle. I did all the things I couldn't do in wilderness. I went to Ulta. I did everything.
That's good.
And so, yeah, I felt pretty free. And then coming here, like wilderness compared to here, it's like you have a lot more freedom here, especially with the different phases.
Yes, this is true.
But yeah.
Yeah.
I'm gonna answer. Okay, I think probably turning 18 and being able to like hold on to like all of my important like paperwork and stuff, like, cause like usually that's something your parents have, like your birth certificate, your social security card, and just like all that stuff. So I think that it was just like sort of this freeing feeling of like, wow, I'm an adult now. I get to handle this type of information. It's also scary because I don't know where I'm gonna put that because it's just under my bed currently.
What is it?
It's under my bed currently.
Wait, what is under your bed?
My social security.
Mine is written down in my locker.
mine's in my notes app, so hopefully no one finds my phone.
I didn't turn 18 in like 8 months, so I got time to think.
Where are you gonna put your
I think also like something that's been freeing with turning 18 is kind of like more so like my own decision making, because like I don't know, it was sort of hard having to like rely on parents to be like, okay, yeah, this is something you can do, whereas now it's like kind of just my own decision and like my own judgment to like kind of make that decision for myself, which has been nice. So
I think that like a freeing moment for me was when I went on a trip to New York, and I was just like flying, and I was on the plane, and I just had my AirPods in, and I was like I was just so like calm and like peaceful and listening to my music, and I was just like alone on this plane. Like I've never really flown alone before, but now I'm like at 18 and I can like do that stuff. And then like when I got off, I just went and I got my bags and I got in the car, and it was just like, this is big girl stuff, and it was really like fun for me. So I like that a lot.
Yeah. I think for me, like when I felt, it was more relief. It was when after my sophomore year of high school, I was a figure skater for like 10 years, and I quit that year, and like in the beginning of sophomore year, and it was really hard, and it's still something that I struggle with, because like I wanted to like make my mark in a sense, but I felt this like relief knowing that like I was done with that chapter, and even though I didn't feel like I succeeded, like all of the pressure and all of the weight and my mom and the coaches, like all of it was like done. So, and then, do you want to go, Tiffany? Yes.
Do you have a freeing
So
moment?
a free moment in my life was when I was doing my master's degree. I was a single mom, and I was working, and I was going back to school, and I just had a lot of pressure. And I think finishing that master's degree was kind of this point where I was like, okay, there's just one thing off of my plate, and now I can start applying for other jobs that will be like less time intensive, and there'll be more like financial freedom. So I think that was that marked a moment for me where I was like, okay, like fewer responsibilities and more resources to work with, and for me that felt like more freedom.
And that's a big accomplishment too, like finishing your degree, especially like while working and being a single mom.
We did
Girl boss.
Yeah.
Okay,
Okay. So number 4 is number 4 was how did Vahan go from 12 years old in a rich family to being the eldest in an orphanage at 15, all of his life, after all of his life was taken. And this was because in the worksheet it says like what was going on through your mind, like what question did I have, and I don't think this one's really capable of being answered. Because on page 267, there was a line that I thought was really good.
is it about him working, like the guy giving him the job?
It's my name is Vahan.
Oh, yeah.
In 1918, I was 15 years old, the eldest boy at Gregory's orphanage in Constantinople. 3 years before, I had been a member of one of the richest families, the richest and most influential families in Turkey. And that sentence was crazy because it's like, that just seems like, oh, okay, I mean, like, yeah, I mean, I once lived in a house in Vienna, now I live here in Utah. But like the middle ground of everything that happened is like, it's questioning to me, like, how could someone do that? It's so young.
And just based off of circumstances. I mean,
Yes.
I think he sacrificed a lot to like get to where he is now, even if it did mean leaving a very wealthy and well-known family. And I think with him being Turkish was kind of dangerous at the time. So
Yeah, I agree. So my last question was at the end of the story, like it said, how did the author get the story of Vahan to tell? And because I was curious, it says that this story is for Baharuja, like it's the name, and then whose story I was honored to tell. And like in the epilogue it talks about how his life had, how after in 1920, how he got to like be in orphanage and go to his mother's grave and stuff. And I was just wondering like how did she get that story, you know? I don't know, but yeah.
I read somewhere like when I did the worksheet, I think it was 2 weeks ago, I had to research like some history about the book, and it said like the story was inspired by like his uncle's experience in the like Armenian genocide. So that's where a lot of it came from. Like his family like inspired a lot of the story, and then he picked that kid to like represent it.
That's cool. Yeah, so that's all mine.
Okay, I can go next. I am the illustrious artist. So my job is to develop a visual representation of an important scene, event, character, etc. from the reading. So I can't draw because I'm crippled. I have a broken arm. Anyways, so the picture I chose is like a timeline of the Armenian genocide.
Oh, cool.
Oh, that's cool, yeah.
Just gonna.
One-handed.
Yes.
There we go.
So basically, I found this on the Forgotten Fire website, and it says background. In 1915, frustrated by early setbacks in the war, leaders of the Muslim-majority Ottoman Empire launched a campaign to purge non-Muslim elements. They began persecuting the Armenians, a Christian ethnic group whose ancestral homeland straddled the border between the Russian and Ottoman empires. Hundreds of thousands of Armenian men, women, and children were slaughtered. According to some estimates, as many as 3/4 of the 2 million Armenians in the Ottoman Empire were killed. Hundreds of thousands of Armenians fled their homeland, producing significant Armenian diaspora populations in the United States, Russia, and elsewhere. No one was punished for these atrocities, and to this day, it's a sensitive topic for the Turkish government. So basically, it started, and it was in ancient Armenia, and it says the Armenian community, one of the world's oldest civilizations, existed in a vast region of the Middle East for nearly 3,000 years. Armenia was the first country to accept Christianity as its state religion. And then it moves to 1299, and then it says the Ottoman Empire, ruled by Muslim Turks, is founded and invades the Armenian homeland. Armenians are now governed according to Islamic law, which demoted non-Muslims to second-class citizens by denying them basic civil rights. And then it moves to 1894 to 1896, which is the first Armenian massacre takes place under the rule of Ottoman Sultan Abdul Hamid II. A total of 300,000 Armenians are killed. And then in 1908, the Young Turks come to power and establish a new constitution, promising to improve the treatment of minorities in the Ottoman Empire. And then it moves to 1914, which the Young Turks enter World War I on the side of Germany, adopt an ultra-nationalist ideology, and set out to convert the country's minorities. The Ottoman army uses the event of war to forcibly remove the Armenian population from its homeland. And then April 24th, 1915, this marks the beginning of the Young Turk government's campaign to eliminate Armenians in the Ottoman Empire. Hundreds of Armenian political leaders, educators, writers, and dignitaries are taken from their homes, jailed, tortured, and murdered. And then 1915 to 1917, originally about 2 million Armenians lived in the Ottoman Empire at this time. A total of 1.5 million Armenians were killed. The 500,000 survivors were forcibly exiled from their ancestral home in Ottoman Turkey. And then 1918, World War I ends and the Ottoman Empire surrenders. And then present day, in Turkey, it is still illegal to talk about what happened to the Armenians during the genocide. Of the estimated 11 million Armenians in the world, only about 3 million live in Armenia. 43 U.S. states have recognized the Armenian genocide either by legislation or proclamation.
Yes,
That was
that's
cool.
cool.
Yeah.
I know.
I didn't know that it
Quite interesting.
that you can't talk about it in Turkey.
Mm-hmm.
That's
Yeah, it would make
interesting.
sense. I mean,
Yeah.
kind of. Wow. Thank you. Thank you.